Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. Happy Friday. Today I thought I'd give you a catch up of where I am with a Polar Lights 1350 scale Star Trek Enterprise refit. Now in today's video you're going to see me basically taking out the top saucer section so we can accommodate the bridge. I'm also going to be doing the electrics for the inside and putting the phaser arrays in as well. So quite an in-depth little thing today. It does look really good at the end of it. I'm actually filming this after I've done that. So you'll get teased when you see that shortly. So without further ado, let's get cracking. Okay, the two last things to do on the saucer section before I actually put the other primer coat on, which is the white coat, is I'm going to be cutting out this area here, which I've already circled, and I'll be putting the little phaser arrays on using these, which come from Partwork Upgrades, and these are the phaser arrays, the new ones. You've got centered and you've got offset here, so that the hole in the middle is either in the center or it's offset. Now if you want to pass a optical fibre through them, no problems at all. You can do that and then you'll be able to light them. I'm not going to be lighting mine, so I'm just going to snip the heads off and put them into place. But what you can do is drill a 1.5mm hole in there and just push the whole thing in, then put the optic fibre up in there. The good thing about having a long shaft is there's less chance of the optical fibre breaking. But I'll give you my ideas of how I would do a solution for the lasers once I've got the phasers should I say, once I've got my little heads into place, and I'll show you what I'm planning to do there. Whether I do it at the finished model, I don't know, but it's what I've been toying around with. But I think the first thing to do is to take this section out. And all I did for that is basically I've got the bridge here. I've laid that down. I put this over the top where I want it to be, because this eventually is going to be stuck to this. So I've lined it up with that like that, taken it off, drew around that. So now it's time to actually take this out. And in exactly the same way, I'm using my little grinding tool here, and I'm going to go into here and cut all of that out. It's going to get noisy, so what I'll do is I'll do that now and we'll come back to this. And as you can see, when that's on, that is how that's going to look. Pretty good. Very happy with that. Very happy with that. Okay, so that's the bridge there. That doesn't get attached yet, so that can come out. And there's the piece that I took out. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the heads off just these little things here. I'm not actually going to put the shafts down, as I said, and we'll see how this goes. Now the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to cut the head off and put it on a cocktail stick like you can see there. Then I've got a sander here, so I'm going to sand it down to make sure it's perfectly flat at the bottom. So it's just like that. And then this is just going to be going on this section, just very hard to see. On the front, this is where we shave them off there. Now I'm going to do this by eye. I'm not going to use a template, but I'm going to put these on. So in other words, I'm going to just dab this in a tiny bit of super glue, make sure I get it where I want it, and put it on like that. So let's do that now. Now you really don't need a lot of glue on this, so it's just a case of tapping it in there. That looks good. And then putting this on. So there you go. Hopefully you can see that. They're all in position. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to shield off just this area here and where the impulse crystal is going to go. Put the cocktail sticks back in the holes here, including on the sides of the impulse engines along the side. And then I'm going to give this a couple of coats of white primer. Okay, doesn't have to be tidy, as you can see, as long as it works. What I'm more focused on is to make sure that all of these are flat. So when I pinch it together, none of these are going to be pinched on these points around here, like that one there. I will have to train that one as well for when I put it together, because obviously a broken wire at this stage is not going to be very fun at all. So there we go, just put that in there. So the only thing I have to do now for the top saucer section is create the lights which are going to be lighting the windows around the side here. And for that, I'm just using some of this LED strip. Now this is only white lights, so that's why there's only two contacts here, a positive and a negative. Now, if you had about 3 lights in strategic positions around there, adding more lights isn't going to make the blindest bit of difference. But just to keep it neat, because obviously this is a mess here at the moment, I'm going to use strips like this. And I think there's 12 lights here. And I'm going to have them in a square. So it's going to go there, 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 and there. And it's going to be held together when I do this with a little bit of solder of some wires to these ends, which I'm going to be doing now. That should be enough to light up everything that we've got around there. Not quite sure if it's going to work, so the only way to do that is to check. It is worth noticing that I have created these points here at the end, which control the main ground, the navigation lights and the beacon lights. The reason why I've got them just into 3 wires now is because when we do the bottom saucer, obviously we've got a mirror of some of these wires here, so we need to connect these to the same port as well so that they are synchronized and doing their own thing. So let's do the interior wires. Now I've zoomed up, as you can see here, on just one end here, and what I'm going to be doing is soldering some magnet wire just to these points here, and it is easier than you think it is. I've got some flux here. This is the flux I'm using. Looks like that on the top. And I'm just going to drop some flux just on these contact points here and here. And then what I'm going to do, put my glasses on. Just going to put something on this to keep this flat there. That will work a treat. I've got my solder here, and I'm just going to do what they call tinning, which is just to drop a blob of solder on each contact point there. Just like that. What I have to do then is get some of this magnet wire, hold that over where I've just tinned, and push the magnet wire into the solder I've just put there. Should probably do this on a metal surface, so I'm going to use my metal ruler here. And as you can see, that's on just like that. And do the same with the positive side. This stuff's great, this magnet wire, because to strip it, all I have to do is just pinch it, and I get this stuff there. What I actually do, I forgot to tell you this, is just to dip the end of this in a little bit of flux as well. Flux, sorry. Flex, look at me. And again, put that down and solder this into place. And there you go. Simple as that. That's how you do that. And I'm going to continue that now to keep uniformity between all of them. So now I'm going to link these ones to this one, making sure that I've got these the right way round. I want to match the positive and negative here with the same on the other side here. So I'll do all of these and show you what that looks like. There you go, that's 2 together. Just going to do the same for the others. Okay, so hopefully we're at a stage where I can see if this works. Now, these lights are going to be running from 12 volts. So what I've done is I put a JST lead into a DC voltage here. So push that in. That's now charged. In the other end of this, as you can see, I've got a plug that I'm going to plug this in. But what I've done at the end of these here, I've actually just soldered these two Arduino cables. Make it a little bit easier to link these up. So put one in there and one in here. And hopefully, if I've done this right, everything is going to light up when I plug these together. So, and as you can see, there's the lights all working absolutely perfectly. So let's get these inside the saucer section. So I'm not interested in pretty here, I'm interested in practical. So I think I'm going to have it 1, 2, 3 and 4, just like that. Hopefully you can see that. So I'm going to get these stuck on. Now these just stick with, they've got an adhesive backing on it. So just take that off. I am going to be sticking this above the masking tape I put there. You know, I've had this stuff in my ET spaceship for years and it's never come out. So I'm pretty confident with it. So let's have it around about there. So that's the first one in. And I'm going to continue going all the way around. And there you go. Simples. So what I'll do is I'll light this up and we'll see how this looks in the dark. And I'm sure you'll agree. That looks excellent. Look at that. All the way around. All lit up. The windows on here. Obviously this is going to be hidden. The VIP lounge will be hidden. The impulse crystal here is going to be hidden as well. But my light block for everything else, as you can see, is pretty spectacular. So very happy with how that looks. I've just moved this around just so you can see the other side. Yep, very happy with that. And there you go. So that's where it's looking like at the moment. I said, it doesn't look pretty at the back, but what it is, it's flat. So when I push things together, I'm not going to pinch any wires or anything like that. And more importantly, it works. So I'm happy with that. Next things we're going to be doing is obviously we've got to work on the impulse crystal here. I've got to actually put the bridge in. I've got to do the rec deck or the VIP deck as well. So quite a few things to do. One thing that did happen, which I'm just shaking my head about thinking, why have I done that? If you remember on the back here, I had some Photo-Etch for the phaser arrays. That's just a mask in there at the moment. I gave them one final coat of black primer and then accidentally threw them away. So I'm going to have to get myself some of the grills that go from the back. And unfortunately, all the Photo-Etch for this at the moment seems to be out of stock everywhere in the world. So you see, I make mistakes so you don't have to. Check your paint area when you're clearing up to make sure there's no Photo-Etch stuck down. Anyway, I really hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.